Are you hiding? Don't be shy. Say hi to the camera. Yeah. Yeah. I've been raising rabbits for the better part of 10 years, and the more you do something, the better you get at it. We've evolved, we've learned from our mistakes, and we've continued to get better at raising rabbits. And I want to share some of our experience with raising rabbits with you, and I want to share a little bit about our journey, how Beverly Leaf's Rabbitry came to be. This right here is one of our tort bucks, and he's going to do really good. But I want to tell you just a little bit about how we got into rabbits. About 10 years ago, and you know what, believe it or not, it wasn't even me that wanted to get into rabbits. My wife is the one that wanted to get into rabbits. And when she came to me and she asked if we could get rabbits, she wanted them for meat. And I said no. I just flatly said, and finally we compromised and agreed to get rabbits. I'm sure many of you other men out there that are married understand how that goes. But at least I got her to agree that when we were to get rabbits, we would keep it to 3 rabbits. There would be only 3 rabbits in our rabbitry. 1 male, 2 females, and we would eat or sell every baby, no exceptions. We'd had rabbits before. They were just pets, a couple of them, and the kids didn't take very good care of them. It was short-lived, and I did not have experience enough to get to where I wanted to raise rabbits. Starting out with rabbits, I knew almost nothing. See, we first got 2 female rabbits, and she still needed to get a buck. So she went with one of her friends to pick up a buck, and when she came home, she had 2 rabbits. And I looked at her, and I said, well, which one do we get to eat? My wife, and any guy that's got a beautiful wife that's kind and loving knows exactly what I'm talking about when I say she gave me that smile. She looked at me and she said, oh, Ben, I only bought 1 rabbit. The other one they gave to me. They just gave us an extra rabbit. How could I say no to that? And I said, well, which one do we get to eat? She said, we have 4 kids. We've got to have at least 4 rabbits, or one kid's going to feel left out, so each kid can have their own rabbit. And so I said, okay, 4 rabbits. 4 rabbits makes sense. 4 rabbits is enough. We can do it. So we had 4 rabbits, and I began building the rabbit cage. And when we started building a rabbit cage, my wife, she went and she watched YouTube videos, and she looked up what a rabbit cage needed, and she would bring ideas to me, and we would go through. And about 100 hours later, and $1,000 later, we finally had this rabbit cage. And I built a pretty good rabbit cage. We had 4 rabbits, and that's all we were going to ever get. And in building it, it had 2 that were on the top and 2 that were on the bottom. So there was a total of 4. In between them, we had dropping pans that we could go through, and it would catch the poop, and we would take it to the garden. Each cage was about 2.5 feet by 6 feet, and it had a back room that was let a nesting box in for them to have their babies, and they could hop around the nesting box. The back room was big enough for a cage. And as we were building it, she said, Ben, you should actually be shooting a video on what you're doing so that you can share your video on YouTube. She had just got done watching YouTube videos to get all of the designs, to get everything she wanted, and we should be shooting a YouTube video on this. And I'm like, no, it's hard enough to design and build this rabbit cage. I don't need to be shooting a YouTube video while I'm doing it. To be fair, we were part of building the cage. I didn't really know what I was doing, and I wasn't prepared to shoot a video. I was figuring that out. And I continued doing research, and I decided I wanted spotted rabbits, or rabbits who were broken. Learning, I realized I couldn't breed a solid rabbit with a solid rabbit and get a spotted rabbit. So I actually went to my wife and I said, I think we need to I hate to do this, but we've got to get another buck or another doe, one or the other. If we're going to get spotted rabbits, we have to get a broken rabbit. And she's like, okay. At that point in time, we had to build another cage, and I agreed to make a YouTube video on it. Now, when I shot that video, I originally started shooting the making of it, and it took a lot longer than I thought. I got halfway done with the cage, and I gave up with making the video, and I just finished the cage. Then I went around and I shot just a follow-up video on the finishing of the cage, edited it, uploaded it to YouTube, checked it off the honeydew list, and I was done. Kept breeding, and I started going to rabbit shows, and I learned there was a difference between rabbits. Not all rabbits were created equal, and if I wanted to win in a rabbit show, I needed to bring some genetics home that I didn't have. And so I slowly started buying more rabbits. And I would bring home a rabbit that, I'd pay $200 to get a good rabbit, and I'd bring it home. And, I started winning in shows. I started doing okay. I got to where I'd take home, and I'd get some grand champion rabbits. I had several of those. And after we had like 35, 40 rabbits, my wife turned to me and she said, Ben, what was this only 3 rabbits still we had? And I swallowed a little bit, and I'm like, well, we had to get more rabbits because I needed the genetics. This is a lot more than 3 rabbits. But she was patient with me, and she allowed me to continue with the hobby, and we've continued growing the rabbits, and we've done quite well. Well, we got to where we had over 200 rabbits at one point in time, and right now I've still got 50 rabbits. Now, as I continued doing rabbits, I had individuals that would come up to me and say, you know what, Ben, you should shoot YouTube videos. You should start a YouTube channel. And I would just laugh and say, oh, I already did a video. We did that. And finally, someone was like, well, how did it do? I'm like, well, I don't know. I just uploaded it. I've never looked at it since. We looked it up and it had over 1,000 views. I mean, that surprised me a little bit. I mean, I was used to my friends that had released a video and they'd got like 10 views. Well, at that point in time, I said, if that can get 1,000 views, I said, I can do better than that. I had some 4-H kids that were wanting to get some rabbits, but they needed rabbit cages and they wanted them to be economical. So I sat down and I designed some rabbit cages that could be built for about $50. And I drew up some blueprints for them. And once I drew the blueprints up, I then stepped in and made a video. And we shot a video, and it was actually fairly well done. And sure enough, it outperformed the other video quite well. And then I shot up a follow-up video as it was doing well. And once I shot the follow-up video, that video really took off. And we had a YouTube channel. I signed up, and we started to get paid a little bit for the videos that we were doing. And so it became an exciting time for us to do it. Now, the YouTube videos, they got to where they started to take off, and I've had a learning curve through both YouTube videos and through our homestead, and there's ups and downs, and there's things that are easy and things that are difficult. There are times you want to celebrate, and there are times that are discouraging, times that are frustrating. And I know that there's many of individuals out there that are going to go through and have some of the same frustrations that I have. Over the last 10 years, 10 years, I've learned a lot both about YouTube and I've learned a lot about rabbits. We've got better and we've changed. And we want to go through and we want to be able to share that experience and hopefully let some people learn from the learning curve a little bit from our mistakes instead of from having to make their own mistakes. Both rabbits and YouTube, there are times that it's been a wonderful thing. And then there are times that it's been a frustrating thing. And you go through frustrations and you go through moments that you want to celebrate. You have a video that doesn't do as well and it's discouraging. You have a rabbit that dies on you and it's discouraging. One of the common ones I hear is, I can't get my rabbits to breed. And I guarantee anyone that's raised rabbits for very long has rabbits that'll die on them, or babies that are born on the wire, or babies that don't make it, or moms that don't take care of their babies or eat the babies. There's a lot of problems that can come out. There are individuals that they just have no filter when it's commenting online. If they can hide behind a keyboard, people will say just about anything. And there can be some pretty harsh statements that will come from people. Once they can hide behind that keyboard, they have no guile to say absolutely anything they want. I find most of the negative comments have come when I share something that is a problem or a mistake I've made or struggles that I've been going through. And you hear a lot of negative comments with it. And it can be frustrating. To me, those same questions that I'm addressing, the same thing that I'm shooting the video about, I know other people have those same concerns. In this time, there are a lot of individuals that go to social media to learn. They go to social media to get answers to their questions and answers to their problems. And I fear that sometimes they can get discouraged. Because if someone goes on and says, hey, I have a rabbit that had its babies on the wire, and instead of telling you, try this or try that, they attack you, it can be discouraging and frustrating. It never bothers me on my video if someone's going to be, say, some stupid, harsh comment. That's fine. Go ahead and say a comment on the video. But the thing that does concern me is I know in this day and age, there's a lot of people that turn to social media to get answers. And if they don't know how to fix a problem, they go to social media. And when they go to social media, if they pose a question in Facebook or some other form and they just get chastised over it, it can be discouraging. And so that's a little concerning where it's at. And when I share the videos and when we go through with our channel, I want to share not just the success stories, not just the cute babies, not just the victories that where we go home and we say, today was a good day. But I want to share those experiences when you go home and that night you cried. I want to share the experiences when you went out and you've got a doe that you've been waiting to have babies and it doesn't deliver, or it does deliver but they're born on the wire. Or you go out there and a rabbit's dead. Because we all experience those things. I'm not alone, and neither are you. I experience it just like the rest of you. And I want to be able to share the experiences that I have, both the positive and the negative. And let's be honest, you'll learn just as much from your mistakes, if not more, as you do when things go right. I mean, I've learned a lot from my mistakes over the past 10 years, and so we want to be able to share some of those. And as we go through and we share the videos and we go through things, if this is content that you like, give us a thumbs up, like the video, subscribe to the channel. If you have any videos that you'd like to see, put it in the comments and we'll try to make some videos and do that. And let us know what you think. Anyway, we appreciate the support. We appreciate it when you give us a thumbs up, and we appreciate when we have subscribers subscribe to our channel.